guys, yes, I'm Kristina from Leafy Luster, and today I want to share with you how much money I made selling plants. I'm collecting plants over 3 years now and I'm selling them for 2 years. I have data from those 2 years. We all know that the houseplant hobby can get very expensive, especially if you are venturing into more uncommon or rare houseplants. These can cost quite a lot and this can weigh heavy on our bank accounts. Luckily for us, houseplants are a regrowing resource, so we can capitalize on that. Today I want to show you how I do it, why I do it, and how much money I made exactly in those 2 years of me occasionally selling some plants online. So let's get right into it. Let me tell you, selling houseplants online has never been this easy. You just go on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Instagram or however you like. You just make an account, you can put your plants in, the prices you want, the description, some pictures. People can hit you up, send you a DM, and then you can negotiate if necessary, see if you get a sale or maybe trade, and it's very quick and easy. I consider myself a private seller. I'm by no means a professional business. I have documented my process of selling plants in those 2 years via a Excel sheet that I made. I have all my sales there. I will share those with you in detail today. My process is very simple. I propagate the plants because I like it. It's fun anyways. And then I have a ton of cuttings that eventually grow into little baby plants and I need to get rid of them, so I sell them online. At any given time I have several propagations going. In the first year I think it was less, and the second year now I think I had 4 bigger sales. I'm working on a principle that I don't like to sell freshly taken cuttings. You have no guarantee that those cuttings will survive. I usually pot them up, keep them in soil for a while, so I really see that they are acclimatized in the soil. When I'm sure they're growing in the soil, they're doing fine, I sell them. That's the way I go about it. If there's someone who's willing to buy a freshly taken cutting, then good for you. Well, obviously, if you're just starting your collection, you won't be able to propagate a lot of plants. They might be very small. You don't want to cut them back when you just bought them to grow for yourself, and that's totally fine. Maybe you bought a plant and it's just one shoot and you want a more full bushy look. You propagate this one plant, get 4 or 5 cuttings out of it, and how I go about it is I just keep 3 cuttings for myself and then 2 from the cuttings I sell. I have a win-win situation. The plant kind of pays off itself, or at least lowers the price. Enough of the talking, let's get right into the spicy part. Okay, first let's check out the Excel sheet of 2020. I started midway in the year. It's not the best. It works for my purposes. If you're a business, you need to have better Excel sheets. On the top here we have how I mix my soil and then the expenses for that. Here I tried to calculate how much one pot of soil costs. On the left side we have listed all the plants that I sold or wanted to sell, that I propagated. Normal Monstera deliciosa, for example. This one had thrips and I needed to cut it up completely and treat it this way. On this side I have the price that I list the plants for, and then on the left side I have the price that they actually sell for. You see, sometimes people negotiate and I am up for that. If you're a nice person, just be nice on the internet, people. This right here is actually the most interesting part. Here you see the total sales that I did in 2020, 238 euros in total. I just subtracted the expenses for the soil and the expenses for the pots. What I was left with was 218 euro in 2020, which is not bad, but I am fully aware that I have spent more on plants this year. Nonetheless, you get a little bit of money back, and maybe if you are very disciplined, you can just take all this plant money, and from this plant money you can buy new plants. Kudos to you if you are able to make this. I'm not. How much money was I able to make in 2021? Do you want to know how much it actually was? Drumroll please. Since by this time I have further increased my collection and I also was more in the propagation game. My plants were just bigger. I was able to take more cuttings from them. One important aspect of this is obviously as a plant parent you buy plants for yourself, not for like selling them, and that is what I'm doing. I want them to get big and beautiful and I want to see them grow. Sometimes you're just in need to cut them if they just outgrow your space. This year I had a lot more spicy plants, and by this I mean a lot more uncommon plants. Materials listed again right here. I found some pots that are way cheaper than the old ones that I used, so I pulled it down to 10 cents per pot, and then the actual expenses for 2021 in euros. I calculated 28 cents per pot, and then everything that is on top, so the price of the plant, is the actual profit that I make. Disclaimer, I'm not counting electricity or water or my working time. This is just a hobby, so we're keeping it very basic here, okay? I have all of the plants that I sold listed on the left side. I have some higher priced plants this time, for example the Alocasia frydek, some Philodendron verrucosums in there, other ones like pothos. You won't be able to charge a lot for them, but that's fine. That's not our goal right here. I make an effort to list my plants a little lower than the average because A, I think plant prices are exaggerated anyways at the moment, and B, they sell better. I just want all of them to be gone. Most of the plants are between like 5 or 10 euros. It just adds up if you sell a lot of them. The color coding here is to have a little bit more overview. This year I have made a total of 762 euros in sales, which is great. 129 euros are still not sold yet. With this number now, I can calculate the expenses, multiply 91 with 28 cents, and then we get 25 euros and 5 cents for our expenses. We can now calculate our total profit, and it's 736 euros and 95 cents in approximately it's this amount, which actually is over 3 times as much as it was last year. Isn't this amazing? That's a lot of money. To sum it up, it is around 1,000 euros in those 2 years. It's obviously not a lot for a business, but for a casual on the side, I sometimes sell plants to get a little bit of plant money back. This is great. Let's talk about, for example, laws and taxes and stuff, because with this amount of money you might think, yeah, well, don't you need to pay taxes or like have a business or anything? Depends on the country you live in, depends on how many plants you sell, how often you sell them, how much they are worth. So obviously you can sell plants that will cost way more than everything that I made this whole year. And also I think I need to mention that the amount of plants that I bought this year, that I later on propagate eventually, I didn't even cover my expenses with all that I made. Let me tell you one thing. This year, I'm not proud, okay? I am not proud of it. I bought stuff like a Philodendron El Choco Red, a Syngonium aurea, a Philodendron Splendid, a lot of Hoyas. In my rough calculations, I spent like 1,170 euros minimum this year on plants. Girl, how much money do you spend on plants? But I was able to significantly lower the cost of my plants this way. I'm glad that I did the plant sales because I feel less terrible right now. What can we conclude from this video now? I think there are 4 main points that are very important. Number 1, houseplants can be an expensive hobby, and if you want, you can get your money back. If you don't make it in one season, then just sell a little piece the next year and the next year and the next year, and eventually the plant will pay itself off. Number 2, selling houseplants online is very easy, very accessible, everyone can do it. Shipping plants isn't a big deal as well. I didn't know that when I started collecting houseplants. I was mind blown when I heard that plants can be shipped via mail. With most plants, it works really well. So, number 3, some plants are obviously easier to propagate than others, also grow faster than others. For example, this Monstera adansonii is an absolute bestseller. It grows like weed. I have to cut it back constantly, so that's why I have so many propagations of it. The people love it, so there's always someone who is very happy to get a propagation from this plant. Put some thought into which plants are easily propagatable. Coming up to number 4. It is fun. Propagation is fun, and also the taking pictures, writing a description, connecting with nice plant people is so much fun. Maybe you find new friends, and this is a big plus for me. Number 5, I got a bonus pro tip. For me as a, let's say, experienced seller, always be nice in messages. This applies to buyers and sellers. There is no need to be rude or scammy or anything else. Just be nice and polite and enjoy the process, okay? Also, if someone seems fishy to you, you're probably right. I just want you to have fun. Speaking of fun, I will leave this video right here of me doing a fun DIY and this playlist down here of all of my propagations if you want to propagate yourself and then maybe sell later. I'll see you next time. Until then, enjoy your plants. Goodbye!